Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tom Cat here, and today we're back in Forza Horizon 4 and we're going to be taking our first look and first deep dive and hands-on into the new Bugatti Divo. Now, we're going to be looking at all the details of the Divo as well as testing the top speed, driving it and giving you guys my driving impressions as well as showing you guys in what is, in my opinion, the easiest way to unlock it. So, first things first, let's go ahead and actually look around this thing. Now, let's explode all of the viewable features. We've got the frunk up here, which is kind of tricky to see into, to be fair. The interior, which we'll look at from the driver's side. And I believe, we put the wing down. Yes. Okay, so you can kind of manually adjust the wing if you would like to while you're looking at the car. Now, the interior is not, it's interesting because you would think that it's going to be just like a straight up like carryover of like a Chiron or something. It's not. A lot of the details are very different. Now, let's go ahead and hear this thing and see what it sounds like because I really want to hear it. Mostly what you hear is like bass and a lot of turbo sound. You hear a lot of bass and a lot of turbo sound. Now, we're going to go ahead and shut it off, and we're going to go ahead and get out of the Divo now, and I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through the car itself, and also take a look at the upgrades and like everything that you could do to it. So, here we go. Now, obviously, engine upgrades, power upgrades are not available, but you can convert it to rear-wheel drive. That is the only conversion option you have with this car. Aero and appearance-wise, you have Forza Aero, and on the rear, you also have Forza Aero, and that is about it. So really not much in the visual, on the visual side of things there. Now, you could do rally suspension, not drift suspension. I'm a little disappointed that there's not a drift suspension option because we can't make a super crazy, cartoonish, like Bugatti Divo drift adventure car, but that's no big deal. We've got sway bars, a cage, and weight reduction, which you can take up to 899 pounds off the car with. Now, moving forward, tire-wise, the car comes with race tires, and the only thing you can actually switch it to is a rally tire. And then front tire-wise, you're starting with a 285 stock and can go up to a 315. And in the rear, you start with a 355 and can go up to a 385, which I believe is one of the widest tires in the entire game. Wheel-wise, you obviously have your full selection of wheels there, and surprisingly, you can actually adjust the offset, which is kind of cool. I didn't think they were actually going to offer that, but I'm really glad that they did. Now, before we go any further, let's just go ahead and all we did was put wheel spacers on a Bugatti Divo. That's literally all we did, but I want to drive it stock, and I also need to go ahead and get it out of the house so I can show you guys the procedure that I went through in terms of unlocking it, because I believe that it's probably the easiest way to do it, in my personal opinion. So, now that we're on our way out of the house, I'm going to show you guys the process to unlocking this thing, and we're going to stay in Horizon Solo for now. So, dropping into Festival Playlist, this car is obviously unlockable in the autumn season. We're right at 50% completion, and I'll show you exactly what I did to get there. We have the PR stunts done, and that is it. And then we have the Horizon story complete, and we have all of the monthly rivals complete, and we have the Series 15 adventure qualified for. So when Series 15 came out, if you went ahead and qualified right off the bat, and if you went ahead and did the rivals right off the bat as well as the story, then you're good to go by doing just 3 of these PR stunts, and boom, you'll have the Divo. Now, if you have not done the story, and if you have not done any of these things, I recommend going ahead and doing the monthly rivals first, maybe qualifying for an adventure, but if you want to get it quickly, I would probably say do the trial and then do the PR stunts and then do at least the rest of these seasonal events. That's probably going to be maybe a little bit quicker than going through the Horizon story and then maybe qualifying for Series 15. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, qualifying isn't all that hard. You just have to play a ranked adventure, and then you're pretty much good to go as long as you do okay. So, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and drive the Divo fully stock and see what she can do. The acceleration is not quite as insane as the Chiron. However, the handling is actually really, really good. Like, noticeably good. You could pitch it into a corner, and you can get on power very, very early, and it's really receptive to it. I mean, it doesn't argue with you. It doesn't, it doesn't try to push with understeer. Now, it will kind of bias itself to understeer if you kind of really drive it way over the limit. But it will actually power oversteer a little bit. I mean, that right there is kind of, it's almost a little bit of understeer push with a little bit of oversteer. Now, let's see what it will do through the speed trap that I used for stock versus tuned. It should let us use launch control on this thing from factory. Yep. 3, 2, 1, go! Telemetry-wise, whoop! We show 1,478 horsepower all the way at the top end. And that's going to get us 208 miles an hour through the speed trap, which is fast. It's very, very fast, but maybe not as fast as some of the other vehicles that you guys are maybe used to seeing through here. So I'll go ahead and show you that power figure again. It goes ahead and stops at 1,478 horsepower. It's freaking nuts, dude. Absolutely freaking insane. Absolutely freaking insane. Now, to put the Divo in perspective, what we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to go ahead and actually head back to the house and grab a Chiron, and I'm actually going to show you guys what the difference is between the Chiron and the Divo, roughly, through the speed trap, because with the Divo being a much higher downforce car, that also comes with the disadvantage of being a little bit of a higher drag car. So when we swap out to the Chiron, you guys will hopefully see what we're actually kind of looking at in the difference of like downforce and handling versus outright straight line speed. So let's go ahead and grab the Bugatti. Where's the Bugatti Chiron? There's Bugatti. All right, so we'll grab the Bugatti Chiron and, of course, take the setup off of it, because the setup we have on it right now, I mean, it's ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. That's not what I wanted, but that's okay. All right, remove the setup. Now we are back to stock, and just for the sake of it being there, I'm actually, and you know what, just to prove that it's stock as well, here, let's see. Reset default upgrades. Stock. Okay? Stock. And then I'm going to go to tuning and go through and show you guys that everything in the tuning is also stock. And just for the effect, I'm going to leave the SCPD livery on it because I think it's really, really cool. So, the Divo did 208 miles an hour through that speed trap. Let's see what the Chiron can do. And I'll tell you that right off the bat, the Chiron definitely feels like it pulls a little bit harder. However, it's definitely not as hooked up in the corners. Definitely not as hooked up in the corners. Yeah, I can definitely tell you right now that the Divo is more fun to drive, in my opinion, than the Chiron is. Like, solely because of the fact that the Divo is way more planted, and it feels more planted, for sure. All right. Time to run the Chiron through the speed trap in true fashion for us. All right, let's go ahead and 3, 2, 1, boosted launch. Wow, the Chiron actually bounces off the rev limiter one time. The Divo did not do that. Okay, so we got 208 miles an hour out of the Divo, and then we got 215 miles an hour out of the Chiron, which makes sense, right? It makes sense. And I think at the end of the day, I mean, that's what I was kind of expecting. However, I am going to go ahead and grab the Divo one more time and test the overall top speed of the Divo itself, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be very curious to see what that top speed actually ends up being. And I'm actually very curious too, because the Chiron is a very, very fast car in a straight line. But I'm curious as to what kind of trade-off was made with all of this aero on the Divo itself. So we're going to go ahead and come all the way back. We're doing this right. We're not even starting on the highway. We're going all the way back to, like, almost closer to the village than the highway. Not quite, but about halfway between the village and the highway. And we're going to go ahead and take off, head straight for the highway, blast through the roundabout, and see what this Divo is capable of. And you can actually get a good idea of where the gearing kind of runs out with the stock car, because in this direction, you actually go downhill a little bit, so you sort of set yourself up in an interesting position there. So we're blasting through the roundabout at about 190 miles an hour, and we got to rewind because that was not the best angle. There we go. Oh my god. All right, let's go. It's still very, very easily adjustable at over 200 miles an hour, which is an insane feat. Nope. Wow, they were just set up there in the perfect spot, and neither of them wanted to move. I'm trying to turn as little as possible. Oh, crap. All right, let's go. 240. We're going to see a 250 out of it? Is there any chance that we're going to see a 250 out of this thing stock? Yep, there it is. Oh, 254. 254. Now, I was worried about shifting up because, here, actually, I'm going to go ahead and rewind, and I'll see if I can rewind far enough back. I was worried about shifting up because I was worried that if I went, like, up one more time, this should have a 7th gear. I feel like it would have a 7th gear. It would make sense if it had a 7th gear. Okay, yeah, I didn't really gain any speed at all, so that seems to be kind of the extent of where this thing is going to sit. But if you guys enjoyed this full overview of the new Bugatti Divo in Forza Horizon 4, make sure to click that like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought of it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later, and I hope you guys enjoyed.